Good morning. Let's call the meeting to order, please. We're going to stand. Let Brother Dan lead us in prayer, and then we're going to pledge allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that we can come and we can seek you, Lord, and have what you'd have us to do, the decisions we make, and Lord, we pray we hear from you. We ask you to bless this city, guide us in everything we do. We give you praise, Father, in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Then we call the roll, please.
Mayor Patley.
Here.
Mr. Pollock.
Here.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. Call.
Here.
Mr. Key.
Here. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move right to our agenda. Next is citizens' comments. Are there those of you that are here for non-agenda items that have a comment? Please come forward.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kimberly Show, 102 Canal Parkway. I'm here on behalf of the Special Events for Mexico Beach, wanting to thank a number of people from this past weekend from the Gumbo Cook-Off. It was our 22nd year to have this event in Mexico Beach. We're very ecstatic to be able to have its return. First and foremost, this event was put on by solely volunteers. We could not have done it without all of them. There's way too many to name, and I would probably forget someone if I tried to name everybody. So that committee has been a backbone for a lot of things, but they continue to ensure that the City of Mexico Beach has its July 4th fireworks show every year, and so they are once again working to accomplish that goal. I'd like to thank the city for all of their help, Tommy and his crew, as well as the fire department, and then Sheriff Ford, and is Marty not? There he is. My favorite new cook. New-ish. She had great supervision, so thank you for the Sheriff's Department for their help and dedication as well. And we're just very excited to continue to do what we like, and that is to promote events and bring events to Mexico Beach and have a great fireworks show. And that's it. That's all I have. Unless there's any questions.
We're good.
Okay.
How many people are there?
5 billion.
That was the answer I was looking for.
It was great. It was a wonderful crowd. One of the biggest that I've been able to be a part of, probably not the biggest, but when you pack sardines in a can at Sunset Park, it looks much bigger. But it was a very good crowd. We had a wonderful turnout. We had 26 teams, and so it sold fast, but it was a good sell. And I've not heard any negative or constructive criticism. So if you have any, please see Bobby Pollock for that. So thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I'd like to add just a little more to that.
Okay.
I mean, this was the first year I've ever been able to walk. Most of the time I'm right behind the grill. Who was your favorite cook before? But everybody, the sheriff's department, the volunteers, the contestants, the people, it was super. And I went over there Sunday morning after the event. The whole area was just as neat as it could be. Everybody cleaned up, everybody took care of it. It was a great event. It just made me feel good about having Mexico Beach in this event. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're good?
Are you sure?
Anyone else?
No.
Yes, please come up.
Mayor, Council, Rock Creek, Colorado Drive. Oh, she already run away? I wanted to say thank you as a citizen here. That was great.
That was fantastic. I can't believe 22 years that's been going on. Wow, it was everybody did a super job, and that was just great. It was, I mean, the weather was good, maybe a little windy, but food was great, and it seemed like it really brought the community together. And I kind of liked it down here because it seemed like it was central for everything. So that was nice. Couple of real quick questions. The paving that's going on. Is there a reason why they're not moving the streets up like you guys did on the other side over here?
You said milling? Is that what you meant, milling?
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, I walked through my whole neighborhood, and that asphalt is like this thick, and some of the sides, it's down like, you can walk off the road, you're down like that far.
Well, they're supposed to come back and pack in the dirt on the sides where they scrape it off. The milling was only going to be done on the roads that were completely kind of unearthed. It does cost quite a bit more to have them milled down and then added on top. We're able to get a little bit more bang for our buck and stretch it a little bit farther by only doing the overlay. Unless the road is completely damaged, like you'll see one, like 13th up there, I think it's 13th, 12th or 13th, that's really basically gone, and a few around City Hall that are kind of like washed away that have to be rebuilt back up. But generally they're going to be doing overlays, and they will be some of the streets, the crossing streets where they have a little bit of an inch and a half, you know, they're allowed to have an inch and a half. Some of them seem like they're not rounded off good. They're going to address that as well as they go, and they're just trying to continue to pave as much as they possibly can.
Okay. I just kind of wondered, because all the millings that you use for the new lot for the boat ramp, it's kind of nice. It'd be nice to have all the millings for everything you're doing to do the whole damn place down there. Because otherwise, you know, in the summertime, it's a mud hole. You don't even want to walk through when you're down there.
We're working on the opportunity to have the main part of the boat ramp paved. We're working on that as part of the process as well.
Second question. Notice that I live off 15th Street. What is going on with all this dirt being hauled in on 15th Street, on the side road there? There must be 100, 200 dump truck fulls of dirt. Is this a community being built or something?
There's a townhome district that's going to go. I forget the name of it. We just met with them the other day. There's a preliminary plat coming through that's coming back for everything. There's going to be 42, I think it is, in that neighborhood. 42. I don't know if it's apartment or townhome. I can't remember the exact words, but condos. But there's a condo association involved with it, and all that's coming for P&Z. They asked to have a spot to store some of the fill because they have to build it up quite a bit. They're going to have a retaining wall around the outside that they're proposing, and also they've done the ditches around so that there's better drainage than there was before they put the dirt in there. We made sure of that.
What? I'm going to ask you another question. I don't know how much time I have. What happened to the other condo or townhome community that was right on 15th Street, basically across from where the grocery store is and the liquor store? It was supposed to be on the left side, but you got a house on the right-hand side, and on the left side there's some acres in there. It's supposed to be, what, 57 houses or townhomes?
Single family.
Okay, what happened to that?
Last I knew, we were in litigation.
That's the way I understand it too. I don't have anything proposed coming forward.
Okay.
That goes back years. I mean, or at least a year now.
Okay. Yeah, I know it was a long time ago, and I keep waiting for construction and stuff. I haven't seen anything.
No, he didn't get approval for the lots we went.
Well, that's a good thing. Thank you.
About that. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Moving on to consent agenda, we have two sets of minutes for the 25th and the 8th of February. Chair will entertain a motion to approve by consent.
Make a motion, we approve consent agenda by consent.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Is there any opposition? Let the record reflect. Consent agenda passes 5-0. Okay, moving to our regular agenda. January 1st, employee of the month award.
Yes, sir.
That's you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to present this on behalf of the staff. We've worked on the program. Sherry Martin with our utilities department has worked on the employee of the month program as well as an employee of the year program to recognize our staff throughout as hard as they work throughout the full year. And we will be bringing one each month to be publicly recognized by the council. And we do have a committee that was put together for the nominations that come in. We have the boxes that you'll see. There's a suggestion box in the front lobby of City Hall, and there's also a place to nominate employees for Employee of the Month there. So we do take the nominations very seriously, and the panel evaluates them and selects the Employee of the Month. Part of this process is
We do like for the department director, the department head for that department, for the employee that wanted to come up and speak a little bit about it. But just as an overview, we do have an Employee of the Month plaque, so you can see it on TV. This will be on the in the front lobby of City Hall. We'll nominate each one each month and recognize them, and then we'll have an Employee of the Year. Along with that, we're going to take a picture of the employee for a mugshot, but with their plaque, when they're holding their plaque after this, so that can be recognized there. So when people come in to pay their bills, and they see that employee, so when they see them on the streets or something, they can say hi to them or congratulate them, or if you see it on the internet, Facebook and things like that, say thank you. So it's just our way to give back to the employee. So with going forward for that, Tommy Davis will be coming up to speak about the employee that was nominated and selected for this month. So Tommy, the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning, Cal.
Good morning.
We used to do this several years back, and Ms. Sherry brought up that we should do this again. But we did an employee of the quarter, which was, 3 times a year, 4 times. So we decided employee of the month. That way, a lot more people can be recognized that really give 110%. And this is not just picked by department heads. The employees vote, or we call it a nomination. They put it in a box and they nominate somebody they feel that they work with that really goes out of their way and exceeds in doing their job. And so the first employee of the month, this would be January, Nick Nicodemus was the employee that was selected. Nick, if you would come up here. Nick is our on our dredge crew. He also assists Troy with mechanicing. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know of anybody that I can stand up here and give this award to that deserves it any more than Nick. Nick, he gives 110% in everything he does. He's always, if I need him, I can call him on the weekend. I don't care if I have to wake him up. He comes in for me. He's an all-around good guy. He gets along with everybody. And I tell you, I'm proud to give this to Nick. This is his certificate. He's the first one that's going to receive this award. Nick, congratulations. Also, got a little something in here for you, a little monetary gift. And probably the biggest thing that the employee of the month gets is a day off. And
you can give me that.
yeah, he deserves this.
He'll call you in.
Yeah, I tell you, this is just great, and I'm glad to be able to do it out of the Public Works Department. I'm sure that Mr. Glenn and some of the other departments is going to be up here doing the same thing, but it's an honor to be one out of my department to start with, because I tell you, this guy, he gives 110% in everything he does. Nick, congratulations, and let me know. I'll try to figure out a day I can let you off.
Let me get your picture. Come.
Oh.
Let me get your picture real quick. Thank you.
Need your mugshot put up.
I can just add one thing about, he mentioned the monetary gift. Oh, thank you very much. You want to give a speech? You want to say anything?
No,
Sure. 15, 20 minutes of podium time.
we don't need to do all that either.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Nick. Good job.
Thanks, Nick.
The monetary gift comes out of the Employee Appreciation Fund, where we collect money throughout the year. It doesn't come out of city funds. It's $25 per month for that employee. It's taxed. So just to be clear, it's not out of city funds to pay that.
Okay, good job. Moving on, number 2 is department reports. First up is financial. Debbie, are you with us?
I'm here.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I was hoping that you would be here live.
Well, it's sporadic. I'll surprise you every once in a while.
Oh, okay. All right, we're ready for you.
Does everybody have this report?
Yes, ma'am.
This is for January 31st, 2022, and the same format I did last time. I kind of changed it up. So the summary page tells you where I'm going. It's included in the report, and then the revenue. you can see where we are in the general fund, and I separate out, obviously, the property tax because that's such a big component. We're on track with that. We do show like an overage in our non-ad valorem revenue, and that's because we got paid for those impact fees for the crossing, and you can see on the bottom of that revenue page, the listing of how much the total was over $1 million, and that includes impact fees for the general fund and water and sewer. So on the next report, I'm going to really take those out of the revenues because they're really not part of our operating revenues because they're restricted. So I'll add another line so you can kind of take those out and you have a clear picture of the operating revenue. And then on the next page, page 3 is the expenditures. And it's by department, and it shows what the budget we're actual at, and then if we're where we are at this point. We should be around 66% because we're in period 4. So Doug and I have been talking. We're going to be working on the budget amendments and transfers for March. So there will be some changes that the council will review and for the budget amendments. And these numbers will change on our budget column because we'll have to amend some items. And then on page 4, we have our cash balance. It's a little bit further behind a little bit on compared to the expenses. Expenses are real time, but I'm still processing the bank reconciliations on in November. This is the closed balances as of October 31st. And then a listing of all of their designated accounts, which are specified for specific projects or purposes by council or state statute. And then on the last page is where all the tasks that I'm currently working on, and they haven't changed much just because the audit for fiscal year 20 is winding down. We're on track for the March 22nd meeting to present the audit for the financial statements. And then also in March, we'll be presenting the budget amendment. And then hopefully in April and May, I'll have some FEMA reconciliations to let everybody know exactly where we stand with invoices still outstanding to some of our vendors for some of that debris removal and some projects. So that's exactly what I'm working on, and that's my next goal, is to get those numbers tied down. Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. On page 3, what is a general fund reserve of $1 million? That's under designated accounts. I assume that's the same as dedicated funds?
Yes, so that number hasn't changed in probably 8 years. So that was at one point we had a fund balance policy that said we wanted 6 months of operating costs for general funds.
Yes.
And that's where we were putting that money in there, and then at some point it stopped, and so that's all that was accrued in there. So that's exactly $1 million is what you have sitting in reserves, and that's tied to that fund balance policy.
Can you touch it?
Sure, yeah.
Well, how can,
All those are real.
when it hasn't shown, the reason, I mean, this is like, maybe we should have another gumbo cook-off. How can we go through what we've been through and not have spent our reserve?
It is, okay, so you may have spent some of that, but it's because we have cold cash, that $4.8 million is tied to all of those other balances. So if you look at the total in the green and white striped area, around $9.1 million.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So this is all part of cold cash. It may have been used at some point and then just made whole. So I have to research it, but yeah.
Right, well, that's, I didn't realize I didn't realize we had redesignated funds to those accounts.
Debbie and I are also
Yeah,
working on it.
nothing, yeah. There was no change to any of these accounts, at least that I could find. I haven't gone back too many years, but those are the balances and the purposes that, and I guess are still there, unless, we can always change them. There's only two, 1, 2, 3, I believe, that are, or 2 that are applied to state statute requirements. 3, building replacement. Everything else is designated by the council.
Debbie and I were working on a plan to bring back to help grow that reserve fund so that we could save.
Oh, no joke. I'm surprised. Okay, I understand the pool cash, and I just didn't realize that those. So then, are most of the numbers on the designated accounts are those what they were several years ago, or how much of that has changed significantly?
The only thing that changes is the paving and maintenance, because all of the local option gas tax that city receives goes in there, and that's around $4,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
The peer utility tax is where the energy, Duke Energy, or the electric company pays us, and the water company collects, or our water collects the utility taxes, so it updates there as well.
But the utility tax is a designated, goes to designated accounts, right?
Right, the utility tax fund was originally designated for the pier and canal, I believe. I have to double check. There's a resolution out there for that one.
Wow. I haven't seen it in this form in a long time. That's great.
Yeah, it's good, Dave. I can just about understand it now. I'm really proud of what you're doing here.
Absolutely.
It's really helpful to me, really good.
And one last question. Where did you say you were on reconciliation?
November
November.
of 2021.
I know that's just 4 months ago. That's unbelievable.
Which is pretty good.
Okay. All right.
All right, any more questions?
Any more questions? Anybody? Debbie, good job.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day.
Okay.
Really good. Wow, we're getting close.
You will. Okay. Where are we?
David is here from New York.
David, you're up.
We're jumping straight to me.
Going straight to you, bud. Well, you're under department report.
Y'all miss me from the last meeting?
I did.
Yes.
Were your ears burning?
Yeah, so Doug asked me to come in today to kind of give an overview of everything. We'll start with some of the projects that are kind of in design or been mentioned lately. Stormwater. I know there's been a lot of talk about the issues on Ford Avenue with the open holes over that 48-inch pipe. Kind of want to know where we're at with stormwater, and we're kind of in FEMA limbo right now. I mean, until we come back with what type of funding we have to work with, I mean, there's not much we can do. The city can go in and, if they've got the resources, and kind of make repairs as needed or clean out certain areas, but we're just, for the full project, we're just waiting on FEMA.
If I could add to that real quick, we do have scheduled with the county to come down with the Mixie Muck, which is the spider-looking machine that crawls over the ditches. We're on the agenda for around the end of the summer. It's not the perfect timing, but it's free, and that's the way I can get it from the county to come. Tommy met with the manager and showed him all the ditches that we needed to scope out and clean. So that will help us significantly as well. But that's on the agenda with Bay County, and they'll come on Fridays and do that all over town for us. Sorry.
David, do you have any idea, I know FEMA's like, what do you think time-wise? I mean, you have any indication?
Yeah, I can jump in on that because I probably the better one to answer it. But I think what I can tell you that will make any sense to you guys, basically it's an 8-step process for the amendment to go through. and they're on step 6 right now. It's been about 3 months, so my guess is we've still probably got the last 2 steps. Normally take a little longer, but I guess we're probably still 3 months away from getting that approval to go forward on the additional work that was identified through the video inspection. So if you guys remember, just as a reminder to everybody, this was a project where FEMA basically said when they were doing their damage inspections, hey, we can see that there's a lot of damage and we're going to give you guys all that, but we recognize that there's damage that we can't see that's underground because it's stormwater infrastructure. So we're going to give you guys the money to do video inspection and then come back and ask for an amendment to that project so that you can do the stuff that wasn't covered initially that we couldn't see.
And
So,
once we get construction underway and we find more, is that going to be an issue, or is that going to have to come out of our pocket?
presumptively, we would have found it all in the video inspection.
Yeah. So you think it's pretty thorough, that video?
Yeah, there wasn't much that we saw in the inspection that we tried to work with.
Okay.
I think the bid came in approximately $5 million to do the repairs. Seeing as how we're probably 6 months away from probably starting on something, best case scenario, Tommy's staff went in, removed the cones, kind of covered some of the pipes that are there, and then covered them up with dirt. We can't have 6 more months of people as the season comes in.
Yeah.
And some of them are as big as this total area here. So,
Yeah.
they've all been fixed thanks to Tommy and his road crew, but temporary fix.
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys.
At least we know, I'm pushing for the stormwater. Thank you, at step 6 out of 8, I thought we was step 1.
No, it's moving, and it has to go through several reviews. I mean, it has to. Those 8 steps include, it has to go through state review too. They have to do it just in case there's things that may apply to them, or the rules that they have that may apply to it rather than what FEMA has. But it's on FEMA's plate now, and they're pushing it through theirs. And I just saw it move to step 6 probably a week or 2 ago. So I know that they're working on it, but it is, the bureaucracy of government that takes a while.
The council would like to keep getting that updated. I would to see how if we
Sure.
we moving along or.
Yeah, and I ask them about it about every 2 to 3 weeks to just say what's going on.
Good. Thank you.
So I'll keep doing it. Yep.
What else, Dave?
Under the ponds, we're in design, spoke with the design structural architectural design team. They hope to have something by end of March to present to the city. Hopefully have the thing out to bid by May 1. Working with Ryan on the FREDAP grant, getting the rest of the documents required to secure that funding. I've sent Doug some options for the exercise equipment that we can put out around there. So we're moving, we're making progress. I'm just pausing for questions. Okay.
Keep moving.
H&B bathroom, same thing. Same group is designing the structural and architectural for those. Now this one's going to have to go to the DEP, Beaches and Shores, for the CCL. We're hoping to have that submitted by March 15th, and how they've been responding on the last couple of projects, we'll probably have this bid sometime in November. Parker Park, the FEMA-funded repair design task order is on the agenda today. We've already had several conversations about the work that they want to see done out there. As soon as that gets approved, we can start moving on that. Boat ramp expansion, the FBIP construction grant portal is open with FWC, so I'm working on that now. The deadline for that submittal is April 4th. But we've got good progress. We do need to, part of the process when they score these grants is you'll get extra points if the city has a match funding. So if it's $500,000 and the city says they'll match 10% or something, you can get an extra 2 points in the scoring process. So just need to see what the city wants to do with that. Yes, I did an initial estimate for the work, and it is probably right around $430,000.
For the boat ramp? For that, to put in the extra bait?
For 3 lanes, yes, sir.
300. Well, I think I think we're committed to that, up to whatever our financial restraints will create, but there are other means of funding out there. So, I don't know.
We had initially talked about a 10%, if we were to put in for a 10% match, which would be somewhere at $40,000. You know, the boat ramp fund does have money in there that we've collected, should we not find additional funding to cover that. So there's
I can't imagine that we couldn't use impact fees for that.
yes, sir.
I would hope that's what we would look at first.
Yes, sir.
So, that makes sense
Okay.
to pursue.
Okay.
I don't think there's any question we're gonna need it. Everything
Right.
else coming online here is, it's already crowded enough. So,
I'll work with Doug and, so we've got April 4th is the deadline. They won't announce an award until, I think it was November, and then actually, process the funds sometime in December of this year. So that would put, if we bid it, that would kind of get started construction in January of 23. And depending on, the timing of that, hopefully get wrapped up before the season kicks in 23.
how much can you apply for in that grant?
No,
It's not one of those not to exceed 200,000 or three, okay.
not that. The jetty, we submitted the permit applications to the DEP and the Corps of Engineers last week. So, seeing how the Corps moves, we should probably have the new jetty and the new bridge about the same time frame.
Why is the Corps involved in that? I mean, what? The expansion.
Do you know the technical reason why? I mean, it's
What
The-
it's a
the
joint
jetty.
permit, yeah, for the jetty.
I'm
So,
just curious, because it's a
Navigable-
waterway?
navigable
The navigable waterway?
Some of the projects that are under construction, paving, mentioned earlier, right now they've got a single lane on Fifth Street done from 98 to Kathy Lane. I drove by before the meeting, I didn't see them out there today so far. But
They're back tomorrow, weather permitting.
The marina, we've got a meeting with the contractor every 2 weeks out there. It's about, I think, 10:30. So we'll meet with North Florida and James and kind of go over the progress. And I think the last meeting we had was a little productive. He kind of explained some of the process, and he's down to getting to certain trades out there. And he kind of wants to get them out there at one time, do all the electrical for the fish cleaning area and the pavilion at one time versus having to come back. So that makes all some of the delay in what we're seeing, but we're slowly moving.
Do we have a timeline?
Well, they're sticking to their current schedule that they gave us. I mean, they still think that they can have.
And that's what, I've lost track.
Well, the final completion was like November, but the pavilions were going to be wrapped up May, June is what I think on their schedule.
That's too late. But if that's the contract, that's what it is, that's.
Fish cleaning station was up towards March in that area, the pavilion on the other side was in May on the Canal Parkway, so.
Oh, I'm talking about the boat ramp facility.
End of March is when they had stated on their timeline, so overall project November, but they should be, I mean, I spoke to Jamie this morning with North Florida, and, the electrician's coming back now that they've painted over there.
March would be great, end of March.
It,
I assume that's what everybody's thinking. I hope.
That's what I'm hoping.
Middle of March is what I'm hoping. Okay, well, I mean, if we're meeting with them and they're moving, they're doing what they can do.
Yeah. Well, they were hung up on having to get special hangars built and sent to Mississippi and galvanized it and sent back here. And I think it's just part of the design they're having to work with.
The design, these other projects is the same architect?
No, it's
okay. That's
Okay.
Sunset Park seems to be moving fine. Haven't heard of any issues that are going on with that.
Looking good.
Sure. No,
we're good.
good. As far as projects that had for bidding, 15th Street repairs, we bid that the first time, didn't get any bids. So the rebid is due on March 3rd. So hopefully we'll we'll get some bidders on that. The sanitary sewer, it's just the lids that keep the stormwater from getting into the sewer. They had a bid opening last week. I think the low bid came in around 63,000.
69,000. USSI, we did have three total bids.
And that's basically just putting the little pie-shaped looking, you pull the lid off, you put this insert on, and you put the lid back in. It's supposed to help keep that groundwater from infiltrating through the lid. And then I worked with Doug on the boat slips and the lifts. We didn't formally have a task order for design, but I put together the bid advertisement and gave them the legal bid documents so the city can advertise it. I don't know when that's due.
Today at 2. The bids are due today at 2.
As far as proposals that we have the city asked us to give a proposal for the bypass pumps that we got a grant on for 3 lift stations, so we're putting those together now. I met with Garrett last week and went through the 3 different stations and looked at what we had to do. The police fire complex, that's over there on 25 acres, we're pulling that together. Going to give the city the bid for the full design. FEMA surge gate, we're preliminarily looking at that right now. We're going to have to send this one on to another office. We don't typically do that in our office, but we're going to try to pull a bid together for that as well. And then Parker Park waterway deck options. Doug and I have had some conversations about what the city wants to do with that. I could probably benefit with a little bit more scope clarity as far as size and all the different features you want involved with that wooden walkway over the water. But we'll continue to work with that, and I'm going to meet with SCE this week, talk to them about some pricing too. So if I can get a proposal over to you guys.
Going back to the municipal complex, when FEMA people came, have we heard anything how that has come along? Have you guys heard anything? Is she more in favor, or what's the deal?
I think we're and I was going to talk about this a little bit, but I can say it now that we're still going to still the process is going to be we need to submit our appeal letter to them for what we think. But I thought it was positive, and I think because of the folks that we spoke to, I think we're going to get a more positive result than we have currently. So we still have to go through that process to kind of close the loop on it, if you will.
What else, Dave?
That's all I got on my list.
I got one question. The palm trees, I don't know that you're in charge of that.
The landscape?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do there?
We've had some conversations. We reached out to the DOT and kind of let them know that we're having some difficulty with the contractor maintaining them. They sent out their inspector a couple weeks ago, and he came through. He found about eight
trees that need to be replaced.
Yeah. But given that we're in the wintertime right now, he said basically wait till spring for them to come back out and replant it. Now we're looking, if they don't maintain as they should, there's avenues. We have a bond that we're holding for them. Talking to Doug and legal about what we can do to make sure the city's protected. But
To me, that it looks worse like it is. It'd be better if they just weren't there.
Well, and I don't know how much of it's dormant. I don't know what they're supposed to do in the wintertime. The DOT inspector came out and looked at them, so I got to think that it's just because of the season right now.
We still have about $37,000 that we haven't paid. The final payment still holding on that too, in addition to the bond. So RCI does have their feet in the fire to get it corrected.
But you're saying because it's winter, it's okay. There goes the legal there.
No, but for them to replant them right now probably wouldn't make a lot of sense because of the season it is. So once the spring kicks back around, the more we get into the growth season, we'll probably see better results if they replant them at that point. Contract does specify that anything that's dead needs to get immediately replaced. So we can have them come out and do it, but
I'll plant palm trees all over town this time of year.
I would suggest that we wait till the spring starts, then we can do we have another inspection done, and then if anything else is joined them as far as dying, we can have those replaced at the same time.
Most of the trees get planted in the wintertime because the roots still continue to grow. And so when they cut down a palm tree, they essentially cut all the roots off of it. So it has to have enough water to keep the roots going. That's the reason they cut all the leaves off the palm trees for the most part. And those actually should have all been cut way down so that none of the water was going to support the leaves and the roots could have grown. So as far as waiting, I don't know who the inspector was, but that's uncommon for a tree process. You plant trees in the wintertime, the roots grow, then spring comes and you've got roots that have grown and the tree can really pop. So,
Yes, sir. We'll work on the process for that.
It's just,
They need water.
it's what it looks like, guys.
I
That's all I'm
understand.
saying. It's what it looks like. Okay. Anything else? Any questions?
no, good. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Dave. Thank you, Dave. All right, Atkins.
Morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning, Mike.
All right, so a couple of these things got covered already a little bit just on David's update. But first and foremost, I always try to give you guys an update on reimbursement request packages I sent in. So in the last couple of weeks, I've gotten packages in for the marina boat ramp and the A&E for that, since those are two separate projects, around $350K total, and for citywide streets for around $200,000. So those again will be reimbursements, money coming you guys' way down the road. On the pier project, we got questions on the pier from Environmental Group, which I kind of take as a good sign, because it means that they're actually on, kind of what we were saying to Jerry earlier, that it shows me that they're moving the process through and actually taking a look at it, and it's not going nowhere. So that was good. We addressed all those, got them in. I think we had them pretty squared away, so I was happy with our response there. Quick note that we got an time extension on the water meters project. We've been waiting on that, and I think we're going to work, Doug and myself are going to work with Garrett on trying to get those installed now that we have the time extension, which means the work's now eligible for FEMA reimbursement. Mentioned the amendment requests for a stormwater project already. The dredge machine, also the dredger, I guess I would say, also in step 6 of 8 in review, so that's good. I will definitely keep pushing on them to keep that moving on through. On the phase 2 dredging, I think you guys are going to get an update that's in more detail later, and Dean is going to talk to you a little bit about a change order on that, but they're working on it, getting dredging done. They're north of the bridge now from their progress reports. And then on the municipal complex, we are working on that appeal letter that I just mentioned to Daryl, and we have, I think, until sometime in March or April to get that submitted to the state. Once that goes to the state, they do their review of it, and then they'll send it along to FEMA. But that's where we are in the process there, and like I said, I feel like we're going to get a better result out of it thanks to that administrator meeting. That was positive in my mind. Just some notes on projects that are from other programs, the non-public assistance programs. We did get the grant agreement finally on the Beach Renourishment Project through CDBG-DR. So we're going to get that routed for signature. Then we have to wait for it to fully execute up at the state level. And then we'll be able to proceed on that. I'm guessing we're probably a month and a half, maybe 2 months away from having that fully executed through the process. And then I think you guys may have heard this, but we did get award of the match funds for the SurgeGate project. So we got the SurgeGate project through the HMGP program. There's a 25% local match on that. We requested through the CDBG-DR program to do the 25% match, and they awarded that to us. So we're still waiting on all of that to execute, but we should have that project 100% funded. And I think Doug mentioned you guys might have some questions about that one, so I'm happy to answer any questions about that or any of the other stuff as well.
If I could add to that, I guess we're just looking for a little bit of clarification on the surge gate since it is 100% funded. It does have completely separate funding for the design and 100% coverage for the design. I just think we would be remiss if we didn't allow them to show us what it could benefit us, whether we think we want it or need it, to bring it back to us on this project for design to show the benefit cost analysis that it can provide. So generally, we get grant money and then I come to you to move forward with it. So we're kind of to that point. I just kind of wanted to find out what your feel was on the surge gate. I can bring it back for a formal discussion, but my opinion is we allow them to show us what it could benefit us in the design phase. Because they honest for $10 million.
Yeah, I think
project.
it's like 8 or 9. But yeah, to your point, Doug, this is what we call phased project. So basically, what the FEMA and the state give us is they give us some money of the 8 to 9 million up front, and they say, we want you to design it, and that way you can give us the design back. We can make sure it looks feasible. We can make sure that the design's still going to be cost effective, which is a requirement of the program. So right now, we've been basically awarded the design piece of it, and then tentatively awarded the second piece, given that we give them back a design and everything looks okay. So, you know, I think Doug's point is kind of let's go through with the design where we're only in for the design piece of it, get that design together, send it back to the state, and see if it's something that's a workable solution, if it's something you guys are happy with, all of that. Because we'll be able to be reimbursed for the phase 1 design part, no matter what.
Even if you don't move forward.
Yeah, and sometimes, and I'll say this too, that like part of the reason that it's set up as phased is sometimes if you get a design together and it is too expensive, and then you know we're scoping it out at $8 million, let's say, if it comes back and the design comes out to be $30 million, then FEMA will come back and say, you can't do it, we won't fund it. We're going to give you the money for the design because we phased it out purposefully, so we'd only have to give you that piece, but you can't do the second piece because it's now no longer cost effective. So it could happen both ways. I mean, it's basically.
Well, I have concerns about it. I have from the beginning, but I'm not educated on what happens when you block that canal off of the gate.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I think this is one of the tougher ones to know because we didn't have a surge gate in place prior, right? Like most of our projects are projects where we're building back something that existed prior to the storm. The HMGP program allows you to do things that can reduce future risk that you didn't have prior to the storm. So, you know, the bottom line is I don't know either. I don't think any engineer could tell you 100% what would happen, you know, if you built that or not. And that's part of what doing the design would help you do. But all that said, I will say this. If you guys are like, we don't want to do this, there's no way we would ever want to do it, then you know we shouldn't take on money to design it just to do it. I wouldn't advocate that, but I will say I think we can all eyeball it and speculate about what would happen if we built that surge gate, but I don't know that anyone knows until we actually finish the design. So,
how much of the design process gives us an indication of how it works in the surrounding area? Is that part?
I would think that if you were doing the design of it, that you would have you would be running a model of some sort to say like, here's what's going to happen if we do this because we don't want to push water out and damage other things. So to me, that would be part and parcel of the design, and that would be something that you know if we put out a task order or whatever you want to do to grant it to or award it to a design contractor, you might want to say like part of what we would want you to do is tell us where the water's going to go.
Yeah. Well, that would be critical for me to make a decision on it because that's the only thing that's going to say yes or no if it's going to work. Because that water will have to go somewhere. I mean, it's going to come in, hit that, and it's going to stop a lot of the flow, which keeps it from rising back here any more than it already has.
They also think about how much dredging that we're paying for, you know, from all the water that made its way in there. So they'll be looking at both of those sides of the coin, and we're still dredging today because of it. So So food for thought. I'll bring it back in an agenda item to discuss a little bit more. I have more paperwork in front of me.
Okay. What else? Ryan?
That was all I
You got
got.
any other questions for Ryan?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thanks, Russ.
Okay, moving on. Number 3, street water presentation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Quick overview. Subject property is zone tourism mixed use. We've not asked for a change of zoning. We're staying within the zoning guidelines. We've made 2 previous proposals. Both were approved. But we've listened to the citizens of Mexico Beach and their concerns about traffic flow, which makes perfect sense. And we feel that we've come up with some good solutions on that. Real quick before I forget, y'all were just discussing the boat ramps, and I wanted to point out that we have a boat ramp on the south side of the canal and the north side of the canal so everybody that would be part of this development can utilize our boat ramps. There's absolutely no reason to go to the county boat ramp. So that wouldn't be pressure on the city boat ramp. It wouldn't be any pressure there. I'm going to have Sean Shanks, the engineer from Moore Bass, to talk about the entrances and exits here. And we've got a couple different ideas to show you, and then I'll jump up and answer questions. Sean.
Morning.
Morning.
Sean Shanks, I'm with Moore Bass Consulting. Just a few project details. Project acreage is 88.44. We have zone tourist mixed use. Requirements for that are 3 primary uses. We have single family residential, we have a neighborhood commercial, and we have marina water related facilities. When the project was originally zoned, it was capped at 177 maximum single family lots. That's what we have proposed here. Each of the primary uses has to make up at least 10% of the overall project. So each of the uses do. And we have another use of open space where we're preserving our wetlands. As Mr. James said, this is a request for an approval of a revision to the approved preliminary plat. And so some of the revisions, none of the uses changed, but what we've done is we've taken some of the internal lots. There was a street that ran here, and we had lots on either side. Moved those internal lots out to the canal. We've added a connection to, right now we're proposing 26th Street. Our commercial area grew a little bit, and we are proposing, I think our last proposal had the connection to 36th Street, 31st, and 29th, with a possibility of a 30th connection. And so now we're showing a potential of 5 connections at 36th, 30th, 30th, 31st, 30th, 29th, and 26th. We've added a second boat ramp. Our previous submittal had a single boat ramp. All of our typical lots are a minimum of 55 feet wide, which accommodates a certain building product that we're considering, but it also allows for each resident store's boat trailer. We're proposing a bridge at the 26th Street connection. The bridge will accommodate the same vehicle that the 36th Street bridge accommodates, and I believe that was all of the changes we were proposing. So, answer any questions you may have. What's it? One other alternative we spoke with Mr. Baber a couple weeks ago about was the opportunity to improve Parker Park Street and make our connection there as opposed to 26th Street. And so we brought just another map to show that alternative.
So, with the Parker Park plan, that's really not a street right now. It's more it's wide enough to be a street, appears to be, but it's more of a road to the park, and that's it. What we would propose there is it wouldn't have an impact on anybody's houses on that site, and we would improve the street, and we would like to participate in improving the Parker Park. We'd line it with palm trees, maybe put sago palms in between them to fill it in, and then put like I said, put the bridge, like Sean said, put the bridge right here at the end, and to be an entrance and exit.
You had mentioned a sidewalk as well.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, thank you. And we'd also put a sidewalk in, so when people are walking on 98 and want to walk into Parker Park, they just take the sidewalk. We wouldn't be walking in the street.
Okay. Are there any questions before are there people here that want to specifically ask questions about this proposal? I know everybody's just seeing it, but if there's any questions out there before we co-mingle here, yeah, what you got, Gary?
I was going to say, is this a time to get up and make a statement concerning any of this, or are you going to open it up for?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now. You can.
May I get up and speak, please?
Yes, sir.
My name is Gary Woodham. I live at 113 North 38th Street. The information I'm fixing to give you, I sat down last night, and I'm not opposed to the city growth. I'm all for us improving the infrastructure and doing everything here. But what I'm going to give y'all today, I hope each of these council members will consider it to be y'all's own personal street that you're living on, because what the information I'm fixing to give you affects the street that I live on North 38th Street. If you look at this map right here, North 38th Street is right here. And when you come in here, you're going to come right in. This is actually 44th Street. They've got 36, and it turns into 36 as it comes down here, and it's going to totally impact this entire community, which we all bought as a little secluded area, and it's going to totally devastate 36th Street. Right now, Tranquil Harbor, as all of y'all know, is right at the corner of 36th Street and 98th. On the one particular unit that sits on 36th Street, it has 34 units there. They're allowed 2 cars per unit. And the information I'm fixing to give y'all, I'm figuring 2 cars per household. As we all know, because each of us has family and friends that come down, during peak seasons, that can go from 5, 6, 7, 8 at a time. And everybody normally tries to come down here on the waterway and have boats and trailers and stuff. So the statistics I'm going to give you, that's 34. And if each one's got, it's a total of 56 cars that are coming in maximum capacity, and it's not always maximum capacity. Right at the corner of 36th Street and 98th. I mean, they are on the corner. They got to turn right onto there. All right, if you go down 36th Street and Water Drive, there are 24 lots. It's encompassed just in that little area right there. Now, all of them are built on, but they will be soon. And each one of those houses, again, has 2 car usage, as I said. So that's going to be 48 cars. 44th Street, and this was Water Drive too. Water Drive runs crossways on 36th Street. And any traffic going down 36th Street will affect Water Drive. 44th Street, which runs over where I live, North 38th Street and North 39th Street, are all in the area you see just past where they're talking about coming in. We have 23 lots there, that would be 46 cars. If you start on West 32, which is right here, where I put my finger, and I'm just guessing that this traffic probably gonna go out that way because the majority of the other traffic would go down here. I'm sure there are exceptions, but I'm gonna assume that most of those go there. There are 77, let's see, and west, let's see, which is around the bend and goes to 77 is the one on the far end. There are 45 lots. That's 90 cars. All right? If you do the total on that, the total cars are 227 cars on any given day. Now, granted, we all know that every day there's not going to be that many cars. That is the minimum for each residence in that area. But during springtime, during the fishing season, we can consider more than that out there. Now we're talking about boat trailers, and this gentleman over here said there would be no need for the boat trailers and the cars to come into the rest of the city. But as y'all all know, they got to be worked on. People haul them out, go to different places. If you consider them coming down 36th Street too, what you have done, you have created such an unsafe place for those of us who live in that community. I walk that street every day. There will be no place for us to walk. A lot of those families have children that play out in the street, ride their bicycles. My community does the same thing. That's going to eliminate that possibility or cause some child or individual to be hurt because of traffic. What I'm telling you people is, I'm not opposed to this development. I'm opposed to destroying an existing neighborhood to create a new neighborhood. And that's what we're going to do right here because the people that live there are not going to be safe. None of y'all, every one of you sitting here lives in this community, and none of y'all, there's not another street in this city that will incur that much traffic. None. Not where it's inhabited. So please think about that before you approve them dumping all this traffic on those of us who live in that community. Because I've been here just like y'all, and I know all of you very well. I've been here for now 30 years. And I've built my home over there thinking that I'd be here till they plant me in the ground. This is not what we look forward to. Why should I have to live in fear every day when I walk, when my grandkids come down, simply because somebody else wants to put a lot of traffic on the street where there hasn't been traffic, and it's a quiet, laid-back community. With that being said, I appreciate y'all considering what I say. And like I said, if you will take into consideration the information I've just given you, as though y'all live on that street, I don't think you would grant it. I don't think there's a person here, including these gentlemen, that would want to live in that environment. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
David Masters, I've been on the planning and zoning board during this whole process, and I agree with it, support it 100%. Two questions that I have. During the initial construction phase, will the city try to ensure that you funnel that construction traffic to a confined area? I mean, if it's coming in all these streets, it's going to be a mess. You know, the dirt, this is a swamp back there, basically. There's going to have to be a lot of prep work done to get this up to par. So there's going to be a lot of construction traffic coming in and out of 98 somewhere, and I'm not sure. I hope the city will work with these guys to ensure that that gets funneled into maybe one area. Second thing, I'm concerned about the canal. As a taxpayer, I don't want to have to pay for canal maintenance for this development. It's pretty much going to be confined, the boat slips are going to be confined to these houses. And dredging, you know, there's going to be an ongoing maintenance for this deal, boat ramps up there. I think the city is going to probably take over the streets. But who's going to take over the canal work? And I just hate as a taxpayer to be saddled with that particular item in this area. I understand the boat ramp, the public boat ramp, and out to the city. But this part here is, I suspect, going to require quite a bit of maintenance, and I would not, as a taxpayer, want to be paying for that. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. Okay. Are there others? Right there. All right. Yes, sir.
Just a quick question on your zoning thing. How much of that area is wetland? How many acres?
They show it, the green there is wetlands, but obviously those the rest of it.
It'll be 19.
It's probably got 18 to 20. My question is, on all your zonings, I've looked at your LDR, you have all this, you have so many dwellings per acre. Why do you consider wetlands and like this is going to be canals and open space as part of your density? Shouldn't it just be what you can build on? I mean, instead of 88 acres, if you can only build on 50 acres, why isn't your density on 50 acres? Why did you do this and make it the whole thing? I mean, in reality, you could have 1,000 acres and 500 of it could be wetlands. If that's the case, you could build several thousand homes because you include everything together. I mean, if you took this development and said, okay, you have to have 20% open space, you have to have recreation, you have to have wetlands, this is all in there. It should just be density on what you can actually build on.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, I see a hand.
Could someone please clarify? I wasn't sure what the gentleman was saying about 26th Street and then a street in Parker Park where the road was going. Can you clarify that? Are we talking about 26th Street being extended by a bridge over the canal, or are you talking about a separate road in the park?
26th Street exists today. Parker Park Road is not a city street. It does not have a street number.
So we're talking about the Parker Park Road with the bridge?
That's the option that he's showing on one of those, on that one that's on the board now, is where it would come down Parker Park Road.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, Frank, you back up.
So I can't speak on City of Mexico Beach's zoning requirements and how you come to it, but I would like to point out that under the 1988 Clean Water Act, you are allowed to impact wetlands and streams by buying wetland or stream permit credits from a permitted mitigation bank. We would be, for the wetlands that we will impact in the business district as well as a small wetland up here off 36th Street, we will be purchasing and have been approved to purchase credits, wetland credits from a mitigation bank that's just north of Panama City, and it serves this drainage basin. As far as canal cleanup, it would be a very big concern if we weren't putting in a seawall on both sides. We'll dredge it and we'll seawall on both sides. I don't believe this part of the canal has ever been dredged since it was built. It's about a foot deep now, but so much of that is runoff, is slough from the sides.
My question and my thought was, you guys have been gone in 5 years, and the taxpayers that are here now is going to have to pay for the maintenance. The initial building is something that I understand that.
Right.
But I just don't want the taxpayers to be saddled with maintaining this canal.
Sure. If I may, I'll address that. That was something that we considered when it first brought up in front of the Planning Commission, so last year and a half, 2 years ago. And it was brought up that how is that going to be paid for? That would be something that our homeowner association, the property owner association will deal with internally. This canal is privately held, it's not publicly held. There's an easement that runs over it, but it's not a city-owned easement, so it has to be maintained by us.
Glad you clarified that was the discussion early on, but we, like you say, time has lapsed, so David, you understood it's an HOA, for like, it's privately owned, it's privately held, so if there's something, they get a clog in there, then they'll be up to them to take care of it, won't be the city.
I understand that.
Okay.
HOA, those guys have, some of them can get pretty expensive. A lot of them do not maintain canals. We know, as a city, the budget item that maintaining what we've got already. So I just want to ensure, right, that they know, those homeowners know, you own this canal. And
there you go.
The guy on 20th Street.
We want them to too, I can tell you.
The guy on 20th Street is going to be paying for this.
That's a great question, I fully understand, and that concern. Go ahead, Frank.
And then just the last thing, on 36th Street, I understand the impact on 36th Street and additional traffic, I certainly understand that. One simple way to solve it, and it's not simple, I understand there's a lot to be taken in, but if there's any way to open the gate to the public boat ramp and utilize that road, nobody would want to come in and out that way on the opening season, the snapper season, 4th of July, Memorial Day, or Labor Day. I understand that. But day in and day out, people could leave and come through the boat ramp road and turn on to what I still call 36th Street. I may be calling it the wrong road up there. I'm not sure where it makes the transition. And literally, they only pass one house, and then they'd be in the development. And while we're having another traffic study done, just so we'll have a better feel for traffic. Charlie, any idea when that's going to be done?
She's coordinating with the city on whether new council be needed, and then she'll.
Okay, so we're currently working on that. But if I had to take a wild guess, and this is just a wild guess, probably 70% of the people that will come to this development will come from the west. So if they could slip in the boat ramp, they would, I believe. So if I can answer any other questions for you.
Yeah, well, say one more thing.
All right, what you got?
We've discussed over and over and over for the last year the development with all the apartments going in from the paper company. If you open that road up with traffic coming out that way, it's already going to be a zoo. You got 210 apartments back there. You're going to have all these houses and townhomes going in back there. You add any more traffic trying to come out of that boat ramp, you might as well forget it. It's hard as hell right now to get in and out of there.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. What you got, Gary?
Everybody in here is aware that the city agreed that road would never be opened under any circumstances. It was built by the state. Those of us who lived over there came to y'all. And the other thing is, right now, they're developing the 26 acres right there at the opening or the mouth where it enters 98. And all of those homes are going to be in it, and they're going to come out right there too. That would be, you're going to have a red light there before it's over with, apparently. But to dump all of these homes over here that they're going to build in that little circle and where those boat trailers and people are, that would be a disaster in my estimation. 36th Street is the alternative, but you're going to destroy that neighborhood. So I just don't think it's a good idea to come out into existing neighborhoods and kill it.
Okay. Anybody? Okay, council. Questions from the table?
I got one concern that the neighborhood community center, where you don't have business, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's going to impact a lot of this. Have we got any way you can put some type of roads coming from the area there instead of one road coming off, what is it, 31st Street? Into that? Do you see what I'm saying?
So you're saying, is there another road other than this road on 31st Street?
Yeah. I
Well-
mean,
well-
you're gonna have a lot of business.
30th Street currently is one way in, is one way going in right here, and then it converts to two ways. The two-way part's really not good because you have to make more of a 90-degree turn to come up behind the hardware store. But if you came in one way here, that also allows for it to go in. But there's really no other good way. One of the things that we did to try to alleviate traffic is take a good bit of the residential traffic out of this area, because we're going to have commercial in this area on our other plans. But by taking some of the houses out, because there was a street right here and there was houses on both sides, and pushing them over here, we've incurred the cost of a bridge to do it. But we're trying to limit how much residential traffic is here as well. Also, we've asked the lady that's doing the traffic study to look at the parking lot and the entire flow for this commercial district that's existing as well, and see if she can come up with another set of eyes, an idea of maybe changing the flow a little bit. I don't know what she's going to come up with, if anything, but we've asked her to look at that.
You've got three roads in there, don't you? I mean, one looks like it's dumping into is that a lot on
29th Street?
Yes, sir.
We've got frontage there, yes, sir. The property goes to 29th Street.
So that's not a lot there. Looks like it dumps out onto a lot. There's a little square.
I don't know.
Might be a straight line there, but it's right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 entrances for that area and those houses in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's 3 entrances. For me, I mean, I understand Gary's concern, but I also think that you got a lot less coming down 36 than you think you're going to get, Gary. Because if we do this road down here at Parker Park, if yours is crowded, people aren't going to go that way. They're going to come this way. And I don't care if the boat ramp road's open or not, people are going to find the easiest place to get in and out. And you got nothing that's going to happen all at once except for maybe people going to work. But a fair amount of these people are going to be second homes and stuff. I don't know if you guys have any idea how much second homes you got, and I wish you guess.
If I had to guess, it's going to be 80%. So we're going to second homes.
Yeah. So I don't know how there's going to be issues no matter what you do, and I think you've done a really good job. And since you're thinking about adding this Parker Park, that pretty much makes it a no-brainer that people have got. There's a lot of ways in and out. That makes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and none of those inside ones are going to come to 36. Nothing on the inside. It's all got to come out way down here. So you got half of the ones coming out Parker Road, say from the corner up here, the big turn. You really only got half of those people going to 36. So, and you got less people. This is only one-sided house for this whole road. So, and it's all the way around. Whereas those inside ones, you got doubled, and they're going to be falling out down here around hardware store and such. So, I don't know how you could have done a better job of doing that.
Okay. The way it's on the agenda, this is just an update. This is a review, an update to what you're proposing. For me, I have some questions, but I'm going to wait till we get a traffic study and see what they say about the revision of the existing business center parking lots, because that affects the center of our city. And I think there may be some things come out of that like you say, another set of eyes may have a better way to deal with that. So, are there any other questions while Frank and his team are here? Frank, is there any? I mean, I think you pretty well explained. When do you expect that traffic study? You said, but I wasn't paying. I lost it.
She did counts probably a year and a half ago, end of summer 2020. So she was going to discuss with DOT and the city whether those needed to be updated.
Okay.
And then once she gets that answer, then she'll proceed with her updated study based on this, based on these two options.
All right. Well, then I think what is appropriate, council, is if we have, they need whatever feedback we want to give them so that they can, sort of like they don't know what they've changed. But we can tell them. And I'm going to repeat, the traffic flow is what some of the, what you don't show on here is how you get to 98 from the center of off of 30th and 31st Street.
Mm-hmm.
You don't show that. So I'd like to see that, what you're proposing. And you're probably not going to know that unless you wait until you see how there might be some rearrangements.
At this point, it would be as it is now, Mr. Mayor, as the layout lays now within the parking lot.
All right, so 30th. Well, and you know the obvious issue with that is that that's going to go down that service alley. There's no access off of 30th Street to 98.
Well, and what we can certainly do as part of this discussion, I'm glad you brought that up, is limit that to entrance only. And
I'm
we
saying it doesn't show that.
Correct.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to see those brown lines show how you're going to get to 98.
Okay.
I have one more question, please.
Yes.
The gentleman up front said that the lady who's doing the traffic study used the summer of 2020 as her figures, but that is not going to show what happens when we return to our pre-hurricane normal routine of a whole lot more traffic. So using 2020 figures is not an accurate assessment of what we normally have, especially during the summer. I think that's an issue.
Okay. All right. So, any other comments from anybody?
Yeah, I think y'all really trying. I really do. I mean, I sit here and go on Gary, y'all are putting the effort to me to try, and I'm like Al, and like Darryl said, I think getting this commercial, how are we gonna get in and out of there? And like he said, it really don't show. That to me is gonna be more congested than getting in and out. Just me looking. But I think y'all are trying, and I find what y'all giving us some options, and that's what I like in those options.
I like the Parker Park Road too. My question is, I don't know what it would take to make that a road. I'm not sure. It looks wide enough.
But there's room for improvement there.
But I think it would. I like that idea of that. I think you can get people away from the business district and get. I know it's just for the ones on the outside, but still, that's on the outside, on the north side of the canal. But still, I like that idea, and I like the idea of seeing how that would lay out with Parker Park, and that's something we ought to look at as we do a layout for Parker Park of how the impact that would have. So, anybody else? Okay, we got any questions for us?
Just procedure, really. I mean, this was an official preliminary plat submittal. And so we were requesting approval of that. If we don't get an approval of this, then do we fall back onto the previous layout? Or can we move forward with construction plans based on what was presented to you today? Because that's when we'll get into the guts of the design of the offsite improvements, coordinating with the city on the results of the traffic study and what improvements need to be made offsite in addition to what we're showing.
It says a preliminary plat update. I don't see anything here about council action. That's a preliminary plat. So you're wanting that to be for approval from the council. I for one am not ready to do that till I want to see how we're going to get to Highway 98. Personally, for me, if y'all want to accept that, I see work to be done to show on paper how we're going to navigate to Highway 98.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Allow us to get the traffic study taken care of and show what we feel is probably the best way to come through the business district. It may be just the way the business district is right now. We don't know that. But allow us to do that before y'all vote. We'll continue to realize that we have an approved preliminary plat based on our last one.
That's right.
And I appreciate y'all's input with regards to Parker Park and that road there. And we will certainly continue to concentrate on that as well.
You can send us something back.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we don't need a big formal, but at least you can send us something back to look at. And then if you want to come back and do it.
That's what we'll do.
Is that fair enough with everybody?
Sounds good.
We good? Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. What you got, Jerry?
I'm going to pose one question before that's on my leaves.
What's that?
On your plat you've got right here, it shows all of this, everything on the inside coming out in areas where there is virtually little habitation. In other words, there are few residents. Why couldn't they let all these come out down here instead of putting them on 36th Street? I mean, it's a perfect road.
Jerry,
I'm just asking that question.
I don't. He's fixing to leave. You can go out there and watch y'all talk it out. See what you got. There, how about that?
I just don't want y'all to vote on it and
We didn't vote on the thing, did we?
Okay, no.
But the preliminary, please be reminded, the preliminary plat has been approved. That happened months ago. Okay. All right, let's task force, number 4. We're waiting.
So we have Reed over here. With Crowder Gulf as well as
we have who?
Reed over with Crowder Gulf.
Okay. Is he going to make a? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Morning, Mayor. Good morning, Council. Thanks for having me today.
Yes, sir.
I'm Reed Loper with Crowder Gulf. We're doing the dredging the canals. Also have Jim Fry here as well. You maybe had an opportunity to meet him since he's been on site in duration of the project so far. So I just want to give a quick update and answer any questions that you guys may have. So as of right now, we've completed everything south of the 98th bridge. We've come through the bridge and we've turned to the east, and we're probably a couple hundred feet to the east as we stand today. Through close of business yesterday, we have dredged 7,600 cubic yards of material. That's
how many?
7,600. That's the in-place material in situ volume. And project through the end of this week, we should be at about 45% complete on the project. So that's really about where we're at as an update. We plan to, get further back in the canals, and once we fill up spoil site number 1, we'll have that material starting to dry, get the bleed water off of it, and we'll start hauling that material off and switch over to start dredging spoil site number 2. But that's really the long and the short of it.
Can you add into about when you can start to submerge the pipe so that it's not in the way for the people in the canal?
Correct. Yeah. So we think by the end of this week we'll be able to start submerging the dredge pipeline so that people coming from the boat ramp will be able to not have to worry about that any longer, where we have to try to accommodate the boat traffic. So by the end of this week, we'll be able to submerge that. We'll have enough length because we'll make enough progress that we'll be able to get that sunk deep below the water, sitting on the bottom.
So I'd ask them to just kind of update any questions that you may have related to the dredging or questions you've gotten from the community. We also have a task order amendment to discuss as well, but Dina can address that when we're ready.
Okay. I hadn't heard anything but good things. So.
Good. That's right.
So I think, are the boat people moving? Are you getting support from?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Jim, you good there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So I'm a little bit, the purpose of this amendment is just the dates. Am I reading this?
Go ahead, Dean.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's a no cost change order, but we had some delays getting started. We had to get the whole harmless from all of the boat slips as well as some weather delays. So we just want to make sure that for invoicing, it lines up with the contract, so all of it is reimbursable and it checks all the boxes. So everything should be completely done by April 25th, but it moves back the dredging schedule a little bit.
This is a FEMA task order.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in case.
I understand.
But these guys would be different if they weren't working, but they're 7 days a week out there pumping it, so I'm very appreciative of their hard work.
Yeah, somebody told me they heard that thing pumping at 10 o'clock the other night. I don't know if that's so or not, but I don't, Jim, y'all are moving along. And so, are there any questions while they're here?
I wanted to know if everyone is cooperating and moving their boats and you are able to get into the canal where you need to be. I understand there were some that just had a boat lift and just lifted their boat up, which would mean you couldn't really get in there and dredge it, could you?
That's correct, but for the most part, everybody's been very, very cooperative, and we really haven't had any issues. You will see that there will be some boat slips that have their boats remaining young. That could be that somebody didn't sign a hold harmless, therefore they didn't want us to dredge within their slip. So.
All right, so we need a motion to, excuse me.
I'd like to just tell him, Jim in the back there. That man's there every day. 7 days a week. I wish we could have your outfit to your work ethic, so I'd rather our contractors would have.
Well, I appreciate
My
that.
man is raining, and he stays on top of you. He's a good man.
And you have to put up a jury all the time.
But I do want to say, he's there. He's on top of it.
We appreciate that.
All right, let's make a motion. We need a motion to accept the task order amendment. There is nothing, I don't see it. I'm sorry, 2021-01. I didn't see it.
I make a motion, we approve task order number 2021-01 amendment for Crowder Gulf.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mayor Patrick?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Call?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank y'all. We appreciate you.
If we can help, we're here.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You got it.
You guys find any hidden treasures, any surprises, washing machines, refrigerators, or anything?
Nothing of value.
Volkswagen.
Okay, let's see, that was number 4. Number 5, city attorney proposal review. Doug, what we got?
All right, just a little update for this one. Not much action. We received four bids coming in from the bid review process. Another one actually came in late yesterday, around 5 o'clock last night. You do have the option to accept that one. I recommend accepting that one, just adding it to the list in order to make everybody whole. It doesn't. It just adds another person to the mix. That's really the main thing to discuss today. I would like to, after you decide if you're going to accept that one or not, we could have a list created, an overview, so you can see all the applicants, and then applications for each one of them will be in your box for review between now and the next board meeting, and we'll have the council meeting decide where you can select the one at the next meeting. And this is mainly due to the late submission that we received.
Just for one? Didn't you say just one turned it in late?
One came in late last night, yes, sir.
Well, it wasn't late, it was just late last night.
We wanted them by a deadline of the 31st, I believe, at 2 p.m. But it also allows if any come in after the fact, we can accept them if we would like. It's not on the overview sheet that you saw yet.
Oh, it's not on here.
It's not on here.
No, I thought it was.
I haven't even had a chance to review it. It came in late last evening.
Okay, so the recommendation is to add the one that came in yesterday afternoon. Put those resumes in our packet, in our box, and that we would then add the city attorney, choosing of the city attorney for our first meeting in March.
Yes, sir. You do have you have another option if you'd rather work on some interviews, but it needs to be at a public meeting where we select one, and that will be the next available time, and I'll be prepared to bring it back at that point.
Well, I don't think it's fair to us to take the one that came in, even though, and also to see all of the resumes. I think we need to take that extra time to do that. And let this list be complete. Now, I'm curious, the way it's written, what happens if somebody else comes in? As long as the process has not been completed, we can get.
It's up to the council to accept it if you want to or not.
Okay. Well, I want to say that if we accept the one we have, but we don't accept any more.
Yes, sir.
That's to make. If not, we don't have we're never going to get through.
Keep going. I agree.
Clint, is that an issue?
I agree.
No.
Based on the way it's written, the RFP is written?
Yes, it's up to you whether you want to accept it or not.
Okay. So we can predetermine that, or we can wait and see if we get any more and then exclude them when we meet next time. That's up to y'all, but I'm ready to close it and move on.
Mr. Mayor, if we didn't have any, maybe we would continue to accept them, but we have 5.
That's what I mean. We got 5 applicants.
Those late guys.
What's that?
Are you the late guys?
Yes, ma'am. we that's why we came here as a mea culpa to the council.
All right, well, that's why you guys were late.
Yes. Oh, thank you, sir. Pardon me. Michael Wynn on behalf of Bergwin, PA. We did submit a late proposal for that. We are very sorry. Our firm recently, my partner Brandon Berg, as well as myself, Michael Wynn, we merged 2 law firms during the time that you all were requesting the applications. We became aware that the application was up for bid potentially on Friday evening, and we immediately mobilized to move our calendars to get an application in and to be here today. As you'll see in the application, should the council choose to review it, we have long ties to this community. My family personally has had a family house on Mexico Beach since, I believe, 1938. And so the opportunity to serve this city, to serve this council and community is something that was very important to our law firm. And so something that we took very seriously, and that's why we wanted to be able to be here today. We apologize for the tardiness, and in the event that the council is willing to accept our proposal and give us consideration, we would greatly consider that. I appreciate that. Yes, sir. Thank you all.
All right. This just requires nothing more than the consensus for the group to take the 5, do what Doug said he's going to give us. In each of our boxes will be the resumes. We'll have, 17 days or so about before we meet again. And
March the 8th.
And then we can come more prepared.
So 5 and no more.
Well, I'm suggesting that. I just think it's time to. I think we got.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
I've had no other responses asking for more time, just so you know.
Okay, so we'll table that. I think that's appropriate, Clint, right? We'll table that review until the first meeting in March. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Moving on. Parker Park, Dewberry, Cat Court.
We have David here from Dewberry to discuss the task order. If you have any questions, specifically related to FEMA items, this is nothing more than FEMA.
Well, that's what's confusing about this task order.
It has nothing to do with any additional features that we want to add. I mean, we've gone in and asked for movement of the bathrooms and got that squared away with that. David, come on.
Yeah, this covers the items that are specified on the FEMA DDD, especially the bathrooms, the sidewalk, parking lot. It does not. When we're doing this, we can kind of master plan some of the other utilities that fit the future improvements outside of FEMA, but it doesn't include things, the pole barn and playgrounds and amphitheaters and stuff like that. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go out, we're going to resurvey the site because back in it was permitted, and we need to make sure we reestablish the stormwater facilities and go back basically under the existing permit, and then go back and just repair the items that FEMA is going to allow us to do.
Well, with due respect, what we have all that.
But no, this is a new bathroom. You don't have a bathroom out there anymore.
No, we don't have a bathroom.
Right.
It's gone.
Right, and we're going to rebuild it. We're going to relocate it to another.
Where are we going to relocate?
To the back of the site.
Proposed to the back corner, close to where that road would be going through, where that bridge would be, out of the dead center of the parking lot.
And in this, I mean,
the stormwater is all there.
Well,
They have to evaluate the depth.
Yeah, we've got to make sure it didn't fill in with. I don't know what this site particularly did as far as storm surge and flooding, but we're going to resurvey it, make sure it's going to function and perform under the original permit. There's sidewalk repair, parking lot.
A fence.
Just so that I don't come across we're looking at a total redesign of that park. Correct. I mean, I thought we as a table were looking at a layout.
Well, there's some features of the park that exist before the storm. My understanding is they're going to remain, like the parking lot itself, the layout of the parking lot.
Well, it may not if this road comes through there.
Well, true. But that's a new piece of information. I mean,
I understand, but now that that's sort of come on the drawing board, I'm just trying to.
You see what David was saying was that they were going to help us with the rest of that configuration, but FEMA has allowed for certain. We have to raise the bathroom up to a certain height, and we have to restore the sidewalk, and the whole fence that goes along the back of those houses has to go back in. There's parking stops that have to go into the existing parking lot that to go through. So handicap parking that goes with that gets moved.
So wouldn't it be best to delay this?
Well, I don't think so. This design, Ryan, on this phase is the funding wise through FEMA. Can you add anything for this design?
Yeah, I mean, I can add to it. I will say, I mean, it's really up to you guys if it's a timing thing. I guess my read on it was that you guys are really trying to push getting these parks and stuff done. There's a piece that basically in the conversations I've had with Doug and David about it, it looks like you guys are trying to do something bigger, like you're saying, than just what FEMA.
Well, we're talking about trying to do where we're going to put the events. Where are we going to? How are we going to park? How are we going to allow as much space as possible? Could we move it over the water? We're going to fill it in. We got a road potentially now coming through.
Yeah,
there's
a lot of moving parts to this.
Yeah, and it's a great point. I mean, you're right. If we're just going to build this back and then 2 months later turn around and tear it up and do something else, or have this development come through, however, it's just. I mean, FEMA's only going to pay for.
Yeah, I think that's the crux of it, right? They're gonna help you guys put it back the way it was, or give you the funding to do that, or if there's certain codes or something that you have to build up to. But they're not going to let you build, a new.
I understand.
Right. So I think the problem is there's a desire. This is just Ryan a little bit saying this, but there's a desire to move these projects forward, but we don't have any funding to do these other pieces of it. So I think Doug's trying to find a way to start moving the process forward, but you know, we've only got so much funding that we can do, and you guys will have to figure out if there's something else. I guess, is that your, what
That's
you think
100% what I'm trying to say. I need the ability to pair this bathroom with the other two that are getting built for the design phase, so they're all the same. We'll get one contractor to build them all. The placement of that bathroom is not going to change. We're going to take into the effect of where the road could possibly go through there. It's not going to be any on top of where that is right now. We're going to take effect the parking lot, and basically David said it out loud. He's going to help us along with that project, and it's not going to cost any more related to that. He's already looked at the deck that would go over the waterway. This is really a fence, a bathroom, and some parking stops and sidewalks. It's really, we don't even have enough money that they're giving us to replace all the sidewalks in that area, so they're going to replace some of them. We're going to fix the rest ourselves. So I really just, if I get a game plan on what they're allowing us to do through FEMA, and we place that according to what we want to do going forward based on the designs you had from 2017, I think we will be in the right spot.
A good approach might be if we can get, I don't know how, I've done something go too far along, but if we can get their preliminary design of what they want to do with that Parker Road, and let's put it next to our Parker Park, and we'll see how it all works out together. Maybe that bathroom doesn't need to be right where it's at, maybe move over a little bit further to get it off the right of way. So essentially, you're going to establish a right of way for that road.
They're talking about including a sidewalk. We want to incorporate that in where it comes in. We don't have to cross the street. All those things. We have an opportunity with those design builders that to fix up the entranceway to that park to be amazing. Because they're going to go into their neighborhood and 100 houses are going to come drive by it every day. We want to make sure we protect the people that are walking as well as to look beautiful coming into their neighborhood, and I think they'll help us a lot with that. So I'm trying to coincide all those together. That's what I'm doing. That's fine.
So this is not to construct anything?
This is the design phase, no.
This is to give us a layout of what it's going to look like.
Well,
what thing we're going to do. I mean, we're not going to go out there and put a bathroom somewhere like what was there before, and everybody said, "Why was that bathroom put?"
Exactly. Yes, sir.
I don't want to do that.
Me neither.
I want to see a complete. I want to see what our park will look like.
And this allows me to kind of get to that point where I can bring back a bigger drawing that you've already had, and then plug in the new pieces that FEMA's going to cover, and then the new developer. This kind of keeps me moving forward. As much fun as Tommy and Kid had tearing that bathroom down, I don't want to do it again. Trust me.
Well, this is going to get you construction documents for that bathroom. I mean, we can cite it wherever we want to put it. It's going to get the utilities where it needs to go, and you're going to get a set from an architect and construction engineer how to build that bathroom.
Okay. And this follows the guidelines and the requirements for FEMA. I mean, we can't get any money unless we do this.
Well, we're gonna have, if you wanted to just build it back how it was and call it a day, they would give you money back. But if you guys are gonna change it up, I've talked to these guys about it, and I think this is where they're going with it, is if you're gonna move the bathroom from the spot where it was to somewhere new, we're gonna have to submit it to FEMA and say, hey, we're just letting you know we're gonna change where the location is. They should be fine with that, but they're not gonna give you anything more. They're not gonna give you a more grandiose bathroom or a stage or anything like that. So this is, I think, part and parcel to, I've been saying to them, we get what we get from the FEMA amount of money, and they're saying we kind of want to move things around. I'm saying we can do it, but
well, is this a 428?
It is not a 428.
Okay, it's a standard lane.
It's standard lane.
All right, so how much? All right, so okay,
yeah,
okay, I'm good. Question? Other comments?
So you're saying that the people that were going to design the bathrooms at Parker Park, then they could also design the bathrooms going at 8th Street at the same time? And then it would be more cost effective?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, our goal is that basically have the same design, so if you got a stock of maintenance piece, that piece fits all three bathrooms.
Okay. Okay, I thought this was, a lot of this refers to bidding and construction, and I was just thinking I'm not ready to construct anything. I'll see what it's going to look like.
I understand.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion or further questions to accept the task order for Parker Park?
Did we need to call? I make a motion to accept the task order for Parker Park, $26,428. Is that good enough?
That's perfect. Second. We have a motion and a second. Call and roll, please.
Mayor Kathy?
Yes.
Mr. Pollock?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Paul?
Yes.
Mr. Q?
Yes.
Okay. project list.
All right. Thank you guys for your time today, and it worked out good with some of the other folks presenting ahead of me. So we'll go through a few of these, and if I got questions, we'll kind of make sure I go nice and slow so we can answer any questions should you have any. So the credit card machine, we did receive a note last week from the company, and it should be here sometime, shipping by March 4th or sooner, so we've had it in a March install for sure. So the pad is poured, credit card machine's en route, and we're continuing to move forward with that project at the boat ramp. The next one for me to discuss is the additional boat ramp parking. Kudos to Tommy and his team for their moving around of the parking lot over there and the millions and getting that boat ramp to be a little bit more like it's not a bomb or war zone over there. So there is so much more parking. I don't know how many you can estimate to get over there, but there's a lot. So, and that's got more to come as we mill a little bit more. We need some more to finish that. The next one for me to discuss, if I skip one that you want to have a question about, please let me know. The next one is the DOT right-of-way. I had a meeting with DOT last week related to the 15th Street walking bridge. And while they were here, we followed up with them about fixing the trip hazards along 98. And Tommy followed up again this morning, and the team is coming back to correct that. They thought they had fixed it, they didn't fix them all, so we're pushing forward with that. The next one for me to discuss is Parker Park. We kind of just talked a little bit about that. The design phase will help me going forward with what we have approved through FEMA, and then our wish list for what we want to do next. And in addition to that, we're waiting on some options for the Bay County Chamber of Commerce, the leadership team that selected Mexico Beach to provide a project this coming year or into next year as well. Depends on the timing and bids. That could possibly be, I've heard anything from a large playground to a monument or something representing resiliency in Mexico Beach. That's yet to be presented. The municipal, sorry? I thought you said something, I'm sorry. The municipal complex, I kind of want to just talk about a little bit about where we stand on that process in addition to what Ryan said about money. I think we're to a point now where we need to kind of decide, and if it's not the appropriate time or not, you can tell me, but what do we want to do? We're to the point now, and I have a kind of consensus from speaking to each of you, but we haven't publicly talked about it. We're kind of to the point where we have to do something. You know, if we're in the appeal process, do we start working with Dewberry to condense the shell of each one of the buildings so that they're more condensed in the parking lot, not sprawled out all over the place? We're not probably have enough money to do Joe Road at the same time, so we could come in behind City Hall would be the main approach. We're starting to think about bridges to go over that canalway. Duke Energy has energized the tower, so that's ready to go. We have to start thinking about a lift station or something with our water to get on the other side of the canal. I guess I'm really looking for, I'm not trying to do work without money that's coming in to pay for it, of course, but I'd like to continue to move forward, whether it's to alter the design. I also have looked at some of the plans, and I've actually dealt with the last 5 or 6 months with the contractors that are DAG that have built the ones at the boat ramp and the well at the pavilion. And I feel like, you know, those are connected to the center of the earth and they are resilient, and that bathroom is where you need to go stay during a storm. That's going to be the most secure bathroom, I think, on the planet. But we need to value engineer the designs that we have for that municipal complex. Our money got significantly cut until we get to the point where we have getting some more money back. We need to think about condensing our infrastructure into a smaller location, not so many streets and stuff, and we get places where we can add on. If the fire department had an emergency and they needed to get out Joe Road, the dirt road would be there. They could get out. They're not landlocked. So just those kind of things, kind of moving forward. We need to be thinking forward on this instead of sitting around waiting on FEMA for another year, if that's how long it takes. So I'm just kind of bringing some of those things to your attention that I think we could do more with what we have already in the pot and spread it out a little bit longer by going back to DAG and saying this is where we stand, and maybe a third-party architect or engineering firm looks at what they gave us and decides if that's the right direction, or if we don't need the gold faucets, we get the silver ones or something. You know what I mean? So some of those things. You bring us the design next meeting. Yes, sir. That's good. I just kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit. Then we can look at that, and we've got a conceptual. Yes, sir. There's a pie in the sky. And we also have Dewberry that's helped design condensing the infrastructure a little bit as opposed to spreading out, so I can start bringing that back. All right, so that's the direction I needed. So bring that.
Lay it out here.
All right, so that'll be coming back next meeting. Sunset Park Day we covered. I skipped the street lights. So I met with Duke Energy on site about a week or so ago. We've gone through 6 streets down there around California, Colorado, 5th or 7th, all those streets, and laid out where they were and where they're eligible to go for the same cost, because some poles are set up for it and some are not. We went all over those. They're working on getting that approved to come back and install them. Then we're going to pick out the next section of neighborhoods and start hitting those. So that project is finally underway and moving. Underwater debris removal is one of the only ones we didn't talk about earlier. So that's out there in the Gulf. Phase 1 is done. We're waiting on the money for phase 2. We're going after some grant money to help cover that cost. It's probably about $500,000 cost to remove some of that stuff that we've already surveyed out there. So that project is still working. And the bypass pumps is one that I'm going to recommend adding to this project list. We do have three lift stations that we're going to be rehabbing with generators. It's going to be quite the project that's going to help out some of those lower line areas. We've been meeting with those people that are working on that project internally. So if you don't mind, I'd like to add that to the list, because I think that's going to be a pretty substantial cost. And it's something, the city's portion of that share was about $50,000 roughly. So I'll keep you in the loop on all those items. Any questions on any of the ones that I went over?
I got a question about one that we talked about earlier.
Yes, sir.
$63,000 bid that we got for manhole waterproof.
Yes, sir.
And I believe David mentioned, or Ryan one, that what are they going to do? When I read that manhole waterproof, what are they going to do?
So the problem that I guess presented itself after the storm, and there was when the storm surge or flooding, there was a lot of groundwater that was getting into the sanitary system through the manhole lids. So this is, I don't know how much money is awarded, but this is basically an effort to try to keep those lids watertight, is basically what it is. And this particular item, and when the bid was sent out, we didn't specify an actual contraption to use. We just basically said the city needs to make these lids watertight. There's an aftermarket company that has like I said, we pull the lid up and it just looks like a pie pan, for lack of a easy term. And you drop it in there and you put the lid back on, and it's supposedly supposed to make it watertight. It's supposed to keep the groundwater from getting through the lid into there. How well they work, I don't know. I mean, they seem to, if you look online, they seem to say they work pretty well. And I'm assuming that's what this bid is going to represent, that they're going to do. I haven't seen the.
Is the bid come in?
We did. We received 3 bids. One was for $377,000. The other one was for $226,000, and the other one from SSI was at $69,000. That actually understood the product.
Is this a FEMA project?
Yeah, it's part of it. It's 406 is part of the sanitary sewer. So we did all the sanitary sewer rehab repairs under one single project. And this was like 406 mitigation, again, as David kind of alluded to. It's not something you guys had before, but we said, hey, this is going to help us.
So what do we get for this?
Dollar-wise, you asking?
Yeah.
It was somewhere right around that. It was,
70.
it was 70.
70,000?
It's more than what we got a bid for. So. They'll come in and do the work. Originally, they only gave us, they were going to give us a product, and we would have to do 308 of them ourselves, and we don't have the staff to handle that, and not really the knowledge for it. So we went back and said we need somebody to bid that, and they agreed. So.
Okay. All right, so the FEMA project money covers this $63,000 bid, even though it may not be the best solution. It may not be we fought this here for years. This is even pre-FEMA. Pre-Michael, we had groundwater intrusion that was running up our bill to Bay County for processing stormwater instead of sewer water. So I guess I was hoping we would get a good, but that's, one bid is $300,000, 163 something tells me. That doesn't sound right, does it?
Sounds like you either get a Cadillac or a Rolls Royce. I mean, look, I've done a lot of storm sewer stuff, and what they're talking about, the simplicity of the design of that $63,000 bid, it's not gonna keep 100% out, but it's probably gonna be in the 90% of this summer. So that's huge, and we're gonna have more people cutting their thing in their yard and letting their yard water drain in than we are running through the manholes if we get this one deal.
Okay.
The other ones include more some GPS stuff and the whole manhole cover we didn't have to have. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of stuff.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you about that. What you got? I saw a hand, Rob. I'm Jim.
I did that kind of stuff for 19 years working for the Coast Guard. And we used them pipe pan things under the manhole covers. And some of them are different. Some of them have a seal on them and some don't. The ones without a seal are just plastic. You just drop them in there and put the lid back on. They were like, hardly work. Not that well. The ones that have a seal on them, a rubber
gasket,
overnight, they seal it. So that might be the difference between your 60-something and 300, just to keep that in mind.
All right, anything else for Doug on this report? Okay. All right, next is, where are we? Staff reports. Clint, you have any?
I do not have anything specific there. You guys have any questions for me?
Okay. I don't. Anybody? Feeling good? Well, Doug, you're up again.
The first thing is kind of cool today, just so you know that it's a special day in history today because it's February 22nd, 2022. So think about doing something at 2:22 p.m. today and then go buy a lottery ticket or something. I don't know, I just thought I'd make sure that you guys knew that the last time it happened, I think I saw it was like 1111 when Stonehenge was there. So it's just it doesn't happen in our lifetime, once in a lifetime. So it's just kind of a fun thing. I do want you to know that the staff busted their butt to get everything ready for Parker Park for the Gumbo Festival. Worked right alongside the events crew, and I couldn't have been prouder to see the city flourish in the way it went.
Oh, wasn't that great?
Yes, sir. It was nice. And we're going to try to make the farmers market grow any bigger. It'll be here this coming Saturday. So remember, it's going to be the second and fourth Saturdays. We're hoping to get a little more produce and some vegetables and stuff out there for options for folks to buy. And the food truck went over very well last time. So you do see it in your report. I included some of the items that the different departments are keeping up with in your packet. So I don't need to go through those unless you had some questions on any of those. I can add or subtract. One item that I did get back from the DOT, that bridge on 36th Street North is built to carry tanks. It's built as much. I mean, we have trash trucks going across it. I guess the normal rating is 1.33, and we're at 2.46. So if that was in your head, that bridge is very strong. That was brought up to me by a resident to ask that number. So
what bridge?
The bridge there, 36th Street.
Oh, 36th.
It's built to handle anything. Planes, helicopters, truck, whatever it is, it's good to go. I don't really have anything else. If you have any questions for me,
nothing for me. Council comment? Anybody?
I got one thing I'd like to bring up, just one, maybe two. I'm proud of our little town for the gumbo, but we come together, people, my gracious. I mean, when the police department, the fire department were shelling people, I don't know how hard it is, but I'm proud of our town for what we did. And there's a service that I didn't know about that we had in this town till it happened to a friend of mine this weekend. She had with heart trouble. I really didn't know we had it. I thought we had the first responders and a little EMT, but I didn't know that man. When that ambulance got there, they had her ready to go to the hospital. I mean, going to that ambulance, they had IVs in her, and I didn't know we had that. So whoever's in charge of that's something to be said for our little town, that we have that service, I'm sort of embarrassed I didn't know about it. I just thought we would get rid of that man. He put that IV in her arm.
They are ALS certified Bay County
service. And I want to commend them people for doing that.
Bay County staffs that person at no charge to us.
I can't believe it. That old time, I didn't really know we went that far. Now, I was very pleased, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Motion for adjournment.
So moved.